morning. 10:01 a.m. on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please stand, Commissioner Beecham is going to give our invocation.
Pray with you, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this time that we can gather, Lord, and do the business of our county, Lord. We pray that you would guide our thoughts and our actions, Lord, that they would be pleasing to you and be in the right interest of our public, Lord. Lord, I pray for each of these men on the commission, Lord, that you would be with each of us, Lord, and guide us and direct us in all of our actions. Lord, I pray for our county family and our deputies and sheriff's department, Lord, that you keep them safe and well. You bring them home each day safely from their shifts, Lord. Lord, just guide and direct us in all of our thoughts and actions. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Join us to pledge the U.S. flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone, you may be seated. At this time, I'd like to ask both Judge Rodney Burchett, Justice of the Peace for Precinct 2, and Valerie Wall, Clerk for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, to come on forward. And hold on, we have a long thing here. Oh, we have half of the right thing.
We have half the right.
All right, first, it's my pleasure to present this certificate of appreciation to Judge Burchett for 5 years of service to Wichita County. As most of y'all know who have attended court meetings before, we try to recognize milestones in folks in their service to the county and to the residents who live here. And so today, I guess January 1st would have marked 5 years. And so we want to just honor Judge Burchett this morning, and as any good elected official likes, give him the chance to make a speech. Would any of you like to say anything about Judge Burchett and work he's done and doing?
Judge, we appreciate you and got a lot of good things going over at Burke, so glad to have you here 5 years already. It doesn't seem, it seems awful quick, doesn't it?
Yes, sir, it has.
How does that happen anyway? And working with him as a police officer for many, many years, when he got to be the judge, I was like, man, I wonder how that's going to work. But really, truly, he's done a great job over there. You realize he's from there like me and knows everybody, has a pulse on the community, and does a great job. So I really appreciate it.
And I'll just say this, Judge Burchett was one of the first folks when I came into office to call up and invite to come over and sit down and visit, and he's always been willing to answer my questions and very helpful. So just appreciate his attitude towards that and the help he's been to me personally.
Doesn't grab a lot unless it's raining in his office.
Yeah, but I think it is I feel rated in our office. So Judge, with that, congratulations. Thanks, sir. And I'll turn it over to you for Valerie.
All right. 5 years ago, we came into office with a clean slate, clean computers, and we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We got our feet wet quick. We had court cases that first week and started from scratch. And then once we got going and things going well, then you guys threw Odyssey at us. And that's a whole other ballgame. So, but it was a learning experience along the way. I wouldn't trade it. She's a great asset to not only to JP2 but to all the JPs. With Tony and that group, and then with the IT group, she gets with them and communicates and liaison not only with our office but with all the outlying JP officers. The last year's been really trying. We've got our tag office and all the employees from our tag office that are really trying times. And it's like working in a coat closet right now over there, so it's been trying at times. But wouldn't have it any other way. She's a great asset, like I said, not only to our office but to all of Wichita County. And so represent that 5 years back.
If I may, I just want to say one thing. I think there's no better label or recognition for the good job Val does than that she is the guinea pig a lot of times for new ideas or initiatives or things we're going to try with the outlying JP offices. And so I think that says a lot
I
about
guess that's it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So yeah, Val, congratulations. Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to ask Constable Little and the Constable 1 team to come on up.
I'll walk first. Come on, guys.
And I'll turn it over to Constable Little, but I think we are here to honor or recognize Matt for 15 years. Okay, so with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Well, I asked, whenever something like this happens, I want my whole team here, because what we do in our office, it's a team effort. Everybody works together, even Kyle hiding behind the. We all work together to get the job done, much like Judge Burchett was saying, when we started over there, things were in a pickle. We started with a clean slate, if you will, with 180 papers stacked up on the desk, and from that, we worked everything down, thanks to my team. And just an integral part of that is, of course, Matt. Matt is, when he was the one person in the office that had the experience that we needed in order to make it work. And I depend on him each and every day.
Even on the weekend.
Even on the weekend. I reach out to him constantly. He is just a wealth of knowledge. And one thing, and I know all the elected officials here know, you're only as good as the people that you have in that office working with you. And I will tell you, we are good. And it's not because of me, it's because of these folks right here, and of course, the leadership we get from Matt. So Matt, I'd like to congratulate you for your 15 years of service in Wichita County, and hope you do 15 more. Wow.
Matt, thank you very much. Congratulations, sir.
All right, thanks, team. Off we go.
Picture.
You know, Judge,
Oh, yeah, we need a picture.
a lot of people may not
Lisa
know
and Nam
this,
can take one of all of y'all if you
Yeah.
want.
the whole crew.
They're leaving.
Come on back.
A lot of people know this, but others don't. Matt's not only a pretty good hand, and a good friend, also a pretty good preacher.
Yeah, he is.
You ever get a chance to
He's
hear
good,
him?
too.
Yeah.
Come on, Jeff. Get up here, Jeff.
Come on, Jeff.
No, you're fine.
Favorite auditor taking the photo
The CD is a good backup.
Okay, you should at least one good thing.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Matt,
Good job, Matt, thank you.
Are there any other presentations? Mike? Okay. All right, it is currently 10:10. We'll open up for public comment. A reminder, we ask that public comment be limited to 5 minutes or less, and the court cannot take action on any item brought up during this time. Does anyone have any public comment this morning?
I've got one, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Wichita County Junior Livestock Show going on over at the Bridwell Center, starting really today. And get by and see it. You're not only going to see championship livestock, but you're going to see outstanding young people. Go by and support them and watch them. They do a great job. You'll be proud.
On that note, Saturday, starting at 6, is the premium sale at the livestock show, and there's bukus of ways to give if you want to support some kiddos there, or contact Commissioner Mahler can certainly me or him, either one
We can
can
get you in
direct you.
touch with,
Yeah.
with the right folks.
And the University Kiwanis Club with their pancake feed coming up, they're big supporters of that show and
You
always
bet.
have been. They'll be there to help out. So it takes a team effort. We've got a great team in Wichita County that supports things like this. And just stop by and visit for a while. You'll enjoy it.
Yes, Judge, just want to mention that we've closed the sale successfully on those 4 properties we had listed with Texas Communities Group. We're working on 7 more to come on the field here before long. We'll show them to y'all just as soon as we get them vetted. Danny and Tony's group have done a fantastic job of marketing those, so we've got another good set that hopefully clean up our roles real well here quickly.
You know, you're talking about the sale, talking about the livestock show. Going there last year and talking to some of those young men and young women, I was struck by the fact that some of them 15, 16, heck, 11, 12 years old, like, you are already on a better path than I am at 40 years old. So, it really is a treat to go out there and talk to their parents.
Best in the world, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, any other public comment? Okay, it is 10:13 and public comment is closed. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions, comments on any of the items in the consent agenda?
Just want to point out on item 6, it's not really a tractor repair, it's our steel wheel roller, so.
Okay.
And Judge, on item 2, just for clarification, that's 810 yards of millings that we've got out there off of Rifle Range Road. And I've asked the guys to take a look at that when I know we're covered up with rock hauling right now, but as soon as we can fit some of it in, we'd like to get that taken care of.
Weren't there also concrete barriers
There's
as well?
11 concrete barriers we're going to move to the Burnett Ranch Road location, just for future use possibly, or at least store them there for a while in those large easements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham. Do we have any questions, comments on the motion or the items in the consent agenda? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. That takes us to general business, and I'll go ahead and warn everybody, gonna be not going in direct order, but moving stuff around, so hang on. First item is, number 1, review and approve the regular bills for payment, verify payroll taxes have been filed. And order county treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically, unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
Motion to pay.
Second.
We have a motion to pay and approve by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Beecham. Do we have any questions, comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. So I'm gonna move item number 7 up next, which is discuss, consider, and/or take action to designate the fifth floor multipurpose room of the Wichita County Courthouse, 907th Street, as the location for sales of property pursuant to Texas Property Code Section 51.002 and Texas Property Tax Code Section 34.01. Commissioner Watts or Commissioner Beecham, were one of y'all the driving force behind this? The one to talk about it?
Well, I think Tony's here today, and he certainly has knowledge of it, but it sure does give us a lot more flexibility, and certainly I couldn't imagine being out on a cold, windy day
Like today.
Yeah, down the courthouse steps to buy property, especially if the list was long. So, man, this is going to be a win-win. And I certainly, for Tommy's people, as well as Tony's people, as well as the sheriff's crew, I think that this is a great opportunity to just move forward, and certainly got plenty of room to house the normal participants. And
I think it's a bigger deal for the citizens.
Yeah.
Being involved in those sales before, standing out there, a lot of times you can't hear what's going on, especially when it's windy. You know, you're trying to keep up with the list of what's going on. I think putting it in the 5th floor in a controlled environment will really help the citizens that are there trying to purchase property. So
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal right there.
yeah, and we can hear a lot better. A lot of times that's an issue on the courthouse steps, especially cars going by or, you know, wind blowing bad. This will be a lot more conducive to a better auction environment.
Yeah, and I know that our tax assessor collector, Tommy Smythe, he wasn't able to be here this morning, but he had put some comments, he was in support of it, and I think the discussion he had with you, Commissioner Beecham, was talking about the potential for using the audio-video capability up there for, in the future, wanting to do some things with presentations, and
Sure,
It's good.
it's kind of a game changer for that sale, so.
Motion to approve.
Second. Good move.
Just another good use of that renovated space too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's become real popular.
Yeah, that's good. That's what it's there for.
that's right. All right, so we have a motion to approve designating the 5th floor multipurpose room as the location for sales of property by Commissioner Mahler, and that motion seconded by Commissioner Beecham. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Judge, I'll just say just real quick, thank y'all for considering this. This was collaboration between the tax office, our office, and the sheriff's office. And weather issues, snowstorms, rainstorms, security. You know, sometimes people aren't real excited when their properties get sold, so they'll have to go through metal detector now. So, and we've been kind of working on this. It may not start till March actually, because we have to run our notices a month in advance. But I think it's a good win-win for everybody. Thank you.
Thanks for your work on it, Tony. Everybody's work on it. Any other questions or comments on the motion of the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. All right, then let's go to,
Thank you guys.
thanks, Tony. Let's go back up to item number 3. I'm gonna move item 2 to the very end. So item number 3, which is discuss, consider, and/or take action to award bid for transport services. I think Nancy and Margaret worked together to provide some comparison information for this, which everyone should have received. And I will just remind everyone, we award the contract according to what the Commissioners Court feels is the lowest and best bid, which means a bidder offer providing the best value considering associated direct and indirect costs, including transport, maintenance, reliability, life cycle warranties, and customer service after a sale. All right, so transport services, we had 2 bids, one by Texline and one by Wichita Falls and Bowling. Between the 2 bids, the pickup bid submitted was the same for both. The transport cost from Wichita Falls and Bowling was $276, and for Texline was $280. And then the bag prices were not apples to apples comparisons between the 2.
Well, they are apples to apples, it's just which ones they're using, and which ones we're using. We gave a price for the two that they use. So
I don't know
you-
what kind of bag you use.
I need a little verification on that, you know, it's depending on which bag they use, we gave a price for both their bags.
Okay.
Yeah, we got one using a light duty bag at $50, and then
Our light
That was-
duty bag would be 30. Theirs is 50, ours is 30. Then their heavy duty bag's 150 and ours is 50.
I don't see any bags listed at 30 on the
Yeah,
quote.
the adult
The
wide,
adult white bag.
and that's one thing that we talked about during that presentation, they were
Yeah, one
comparing.
adult white bag's
That's-
$30.
I asked about that, I said, is that, what's the difference between the bags, and we compared them. The adult white was comparable to the light duty. I think that the adult black was comparable to their heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The adult black.
$33 for their $150 bag.
There was quite a bit of difference on the bagging.
Yeah.
This time we'll entertain a motion for a bid or more discussion.
And we took care of the question about storage or holding fees of any type. That's out of this equation.
It was not on the bid, but it wasn't listed on the bid as an item, but both companies discussed in court that there was no fees for it. Whether or not I would assume since they said it in court, they would never send us a bill saying that, but you can't go back and say that. I do have a question for Wichita Falls and Balmy. What bag is comparable to a extra heavy duty on your list?
The adult black is the extra heavy duty bag, so it'd be $33 for ours.
And what is the heavy duty?
The heavy duty, the adult black, well, there's a $50 bag too. So our bag, there's one of them that they call them a disaster pouch, so they're like a heavier material. And then they're really like the bags that we're gonna use is considered a FEMA, which is Federal Emergency Management, or, you know, the disaster response FEMA. They're FEMA bags, they're what they use in disaster situations, and they cost us a total of, you know, $30, and then we'll put a $10 charge on them. Every bag that we get, we're not trying to, what's been done in the past is they kind of merchandise these bags to you guys and to their clients too in the funeral homes, and I'm not into that. So what I try to do is use that as a tool that, you know, if we have to have a bag as a tool, what we'll do is charge $10 on top of our cost. So, you know, those bags that, the disaster pouch, the really heavy duty ones, I think they're $40-something. And then we'll charge a $10 fee. So at the end of the seven bag case, we'll make $70 off the case for kind of handling that bag. So any bag that we provide you guys, we're just gonna charge a handling fee on top of that bag. We're not gonna merchandise it and charge, you know, 200% profit on the bag. It's kind of what's been done in the past by Wichita Falls Embalming Service and Text Line. So they purchased these bags for $10 and then sold them for 30 or 50. Like that light bag's like a $10, the expensive side would be $20, and they're selling them for 50. So that's a 300% profit on that bag. And then the same way, the other ones are a $50 bag and they're selling them for 150, so they're making, you know, 200% profit on that bag.
But, correct me if I'm wrong, you just said that it's a $30, but then a $10 charge on top of it.
Yeah, so for depending on which one we use, if you want the extra heavy one, which there's no use to, the other one the bags come in multiple different varieties of bags. They probably got a total of like, I don't know, 30 different types of bags that you can choose from. So the only reason that we will be, that you're mandated to use a bag in the first place is if they're going up for an autopsy, right? That's the only time that it's mandated to use a bag. They require you to drop one off for an autopsy. And they have said that they don't have any particular requirement on the bag. So the FEMA bag that cost us $30, it will probably be the one that, only time that we necessarily, in the case, I mean, I don't wanna sound crude, but in the case of a decomposition case or something, we'll utilize a bag in order to kind of contain smells and contain the mess and things like that. But that's pretty much one of the only situations that we would use a bag. That I particularly like to use a bag. So now in the past, because the profits have been so high on the bags, they're using the bags to pad the low removal cost, right? The removal cost is $100, which they're a bit higher in Wichita Falls, both companies are, for normal removal. So they're using the bags to pad their removal costs, because they're sending a 2-man removal team, or I will be, sending a 2-man removal team, and I assume that Textline does as well, because of what the issues that you guys had spoke of with the helping and things like that. So we plan on doing a 2-man removal team. So the bags in the past have been used to pad the bids for that, right? So they're charging you $100 and then making the additional money on the bags, and every body's going in the bag. Every single body is going in at least that $50 bag, which that pads that bid. And we don't plan on doing that. I don't like that idea.
I just
What are
wanted to
we
make sure,
talking about number-wise?
I just wanted to make sure that we're, because the form that we have here is showing them at a heavy duty, text line at light duty, heavy duty, and extra heavy duty. And we discussed the other day that I wanted to know which bags compared to which.
Hold on. Go ahead, finish.
I just wanted to make sure that we had, because right now it shows these are blank up here for text line, for Wichita Falls and Bombing, which they weren't after our discussion the other day. They should have been brought up with which one was comparable to which one. That's what we discussed. And
All of ours are down for some reason, but those bags are those bags are in there. So your light bag is like the $20 bag, right? And then you get into the $33 bag will be a FEMA bag, and it's like a blue tarp material. And then they have a heavy rubberized bag that's $40 to $50 my cost.
hold on. First of all, I don't really care what your cost is. So
Yeah.
it'd be better for this conversation if you didn't bring it up.
Okay.
Because it confuses the situation.
Okay. So
I'm talking just retail cost. What is it to what?
30, 40, and 50 is what we will charge for the same bags, comparable bags.
Right.
Apples to apples, oranges to oranges, 30, 40, or 50.
And that's
if I
and
get
that's
it
what
for
we talked
cheaper,
about
it'll
the
be
other day.
less.
All right, let me, the gentleman from Textline, I think wants to say
Well,
something.
we're not, I don't know where, he doesn't know where I'm buying my bags.
Sure.
Yes, there's a markup. But I'm paying a lot more than what he's saying I'm paying, so.
Well,
And that's really none of our business.
I mean-
What you pay,
Right.
I don't care.
But-
What,
I just want to make sure we're
But we're not,
comparing.
but just to kind of, we're not padding our bid by adding more money on top of the bags. We use higher quality products so that we don't have to worry about the bag ripping in the middle of a call or, something like that. And, it's, not every single call do we use a bag, just like they said, there is a necessity for them sometimes, but, we just wanna make sure that y'all know that that is not, they don't know what we do, we don't know what they do, for them to just,
so I'm
My
gonna,
opinion.
It's almost be
no,
great.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it.
well, but that's.
I'm gonna put y'all on the spot a little bit, and if you don't know the answer to this, that's fine, we can come back and get it. Y'all have had the contract for 6 months?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea of how many bags have been used over that 6 months at the different levels? If you don't, this is putting you on the spot.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
If I have a little bit of time, I can figure that out.
That question,
Okay.
what was the question?
How many bags of each type have we used over the last
Well,
6
how many, what's the rough number of transports to Dallas?
It varies,
Total cost, if you said, oh, Wichita County, they're a good customer, they have blank, what would that blank be roughly?
roughly, we're.
100?
Since we've had it, no.
How many?
I would say 20 to 25 since the
Oh,
6
okay.
months we've
So-
had it. But not all those are going to Dallas, so.
See, 25 would be 2 a month, so.
And to address both companies, what gets me is we're looking at a price here on a quote that's very similar. But it's showing, I mean, you are within a few dollars of each other.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that either one of y'all have bad business practices, but our most thing we're looking at here is the bag cost being the biggest thing that does it. I personally would like to see your 3 bags that you're bidding on, each one's 3 bags. Because if you're comparing a $30 bag to a $50 bag, and a $33 bag to a $100 bag, and a $50 bag to a $150 bag, then I'd like to see the bags. Are we paying for the difference or are we not? Because it's pretty apparent that not everybody's gonna be, somebody's not gonna be happy with the outcome of this bid. I just wanna make sure we're comparing apples to apples.
Sure.
Cause this is not, it's pretty,
Quick question.
Well, again, I mean, it's quality of the products that we use. It might be a completely different quality. We don't know what they use. We only know what we use. We're not trying to make money off of them. We just don't want to, I mean, there's no sense in using a paper bag that's gonna fall apart and have to go through them and through them and through them, you know, rather than using a plastic bag that might hold it a little better, if that makes sense.
I do agree.
So, I mean, we've bought cheap bags in the past and we've had problems with them ripping and everything else, and you end up having to buy more. So, we call it bad business, don't call it bad business. We just find that if you have to pay a little bit extra for a better quality product, that's what you're gonna get. I mean, that's,
Commissioner Muller, I think you wanted to.
The adult XL, is it bigger or is it
Yeah,
also, did I hear you say heavier?
Yeah, they're not heavier, and they're a larger size bag to fit a larger person inside them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get them lined up here
Yeah,
some
and-
way
and
on the,
they got oversized bags and things like that. Like I said, there's a product range in here, and like she said too, there's a quality range too. So the cheaper bags are gonna be like a lesser quality bag. And some of these, like the low end bags, you know, or even them, they're not the best of quality. So I mean, the thing with it is there's a large range, but we stock the bags, so there's, you know, you can see the quality of them and see what we're talking about, you know, as far as that goes. I'm in a removal vehicle right now downstairs, and I could bring one type of bag.
No, we're not,
You
because
want-
we need to,
you want to be in charge
both
of it.
companies need to have an equal time to prepare and bring their stuff.
Yeah.
Who decides on what quality bag at the time?
Like I said, the only real reason to have the bags is for the FEMA. Now, in the past, I've got, or for Swifts. That's the only real reason to even use a bag, unless they're, you know, decomposition or something like that. But Swifts requires you to use a bag.
Okay.
So now, other than that, as far as, you know, any legislature or anything like that, there's nothing there. I mean, like I said, there's certain situations that you may want to, you know, someone's purging badly, automobile accident. There's certain situations to where you're gonna have to use a bag in order to protect your employees, protect the cleanliness of your equipment. And then sometimes the bags are used to carry people out, but I've got other equipment that's specifically designed to carry people that I like to use better than a bag per se.
Okay, yes, sir.
He alluded that it was the purging and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, there's certain reasons that bags are helpful at, but they're tools in order to complete the task of making the removal in a safe and effective manner.
But to answer your question, it's when you get there, it's the on-call person to decide which bag, what's needed.
Yeah.
So,
Judge,
Yes,
to
ma'am.
answer Jeff, we've had 89 invoices so far since they've taken over. Just looking quickly, only 4 times has a bag not been used.
Only 4 times. So we've used roughly 85 bags across the year.
Yes.
And there's, you know, there's a sizable difference across the 6 months, but there's a sizable difference between the 2 costs of the bag as well. You see, so.
And this is the challenge, is that, I don't know that we have apples to apples comparisons.
correct, I mean, if our bid asks for 3, it asks for a light, a medium, and a heavy duty, then I guess we should see their light, medium, and heavy duty and see what the prices are for each. You shouldn't have any other bids other than that. If our bid requested a light, medium, and heavy duty, then
Yeah, but
they should both have light, medium, and heavy duty.
y'all didn't request,
There,
there
the-
wasn't even on the bid.
so the proposal for the bid is just for pickup of body and the fixed cost to Dallas for the autopsy. That's what the RFP.
And those are literally within $4
Those are
difference.
within $4.
So most of our expenses are gonna be bag difference.
Yeah, Margaret, how many autopsies have we done in that period of time?
Oh,
Sorry.
you're fine, hold on.
Well, help me understand, what's the purpose of hauling them to Dallas if it's not for an autopsy?
That would be the only
Yeah.
purpose.
That'd be the only purpose.
Amen, Sheriff.
Well, there's quite a few autopsies.
They're
Yeah,
all-
we had a
the-
period there, we did a bunch.
Yeah, that's gonna take a little bit more time because
Okay.
these,
Yeah.
they're $2,900 a piece and I have several $30,000 bills I'd have to go through and look through all of them. They're not all the
Okay.
same price. It's gonna I mean, I can do it, but y'all probably don't wanna sit here while I think through
No,
this.
that's,
and-
yes, thank you
So
for
it's
that
gonna take-
consideration.
Well, certain ones have to go, isn't that right, Nikki?
Yeah, all depends on the JP
Okay.
and well, really just JP.
I know Glenda over at the auditor's office, she sends us a monthly invoice requesting our approval.
Right, for the
So
ones
that
he
should
does.
be pretty easy to look at on that monthly invoice. And I would say probably on an average, I would say 10 to 15
A month?
a month.
But that's for him.
Yeah.
No, that would
You gotta be
For
total.
everybody?
Be all.
that would be total. I would probably say
Yeah.
probably closer to 15 average.
I'm just trying to look and see what month they started with us.
I'm wondering if, based on this feedback, if our RFP needs to have
I think it
bag
needs to be the bag.
specifications in it. In which case, what we would need to do is reject all bids and re-advertise. Because because the way that this is written now and the way that it's responded to, whoever is the winning bidder, you're not locked in on anything for bag price or when you use it or what you, and so, as much as I hate to push this out and make everybody go through the hassle again of posting, I think that may be the
Yeah, I
best
think we all
option.
have questions on what we're actually getting, so.
Well, and this is, and I don't know how often we as a county have done this before. This also might be a good, we have the ability to do pre-bid conferences to hash out some things,
Sure.
which might be something for us to consider too on.
Get it
If
lined up.
Yeah, if it's
Yep.
road material, y'all know that, it's the same thing every time. This is not something that any of us really, work in a ton. And it'd be nice to also be able to get expertise of someone like Judge Hughes or the JPs who.
Well, that is something that changes the bid drastically.
Yeah.
And it's up to the vendor's discretion which one they use, so it completely changes the bid. So I think that's something we need to
If they use one
lock
or
in
not,
on. Yeah.
so.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead then, and make the motion that we reject all bids and publish a new notice for transport services.
Second.
There any discussion on that motion or any further discussion or comment on the item itself?
So on the, currently then with text line, does that mean that they're still under contract and that's who we still
Yes.
contact in?
That continues. We will not dilly-dally on this. We'll get the new one up as ASAP. But I think that's the only way to be fair to both of our bidders, and honestly to us as a body trying to make a decision on this.
Let me ask too,
Yeah.
is there ever a time that two bodies would be transferred at one time?
Yes.
That happens multiple times? And do we store a body waiting for
No,
the week to close and then go down once a week with,
no.
but there, is there more than 2 carried sometimes?
Occasionally, but
Yeah,
not-
I mean,
We
it kind
had
of
a-
depends.
we had
If you have
a-
one waiting and you're loading one, you would pick up the other one before you went.
We had a multiple vehicle car accident one time in Oklahoma, not here in Texas, but in Oklahoma, that we had to transport 4 from that one scene in 2 different vehicles. And then they had, on the other vehicle, they transported 3 to the ME's office in one accident. It was a head-on collision on a curb. So it was multiple people passed away at that one scene and all were transported up to the ME's office.
I think the only time here that we've had is just a murder-suicide. Where there's been a murder-suicide and we need to send both down for an autopsy. Or I can't recall that we've had an accident.
Sometimes we've had also 2 multiple scenes that were not related to, but they were back-to-back scenes. You know, we had one that was a guy that fell off a bridge and passed away, a homeless man, and then in Duncan, Oklahoma, we had a second one. So I helped the officer on that scene and then went directly with him to the second scene and cleared that scene and took them both at once. So there's some situations where we have to line up and have multiple calls at once, but we've never been in the habit of holding bodies. You know, most of the time it's transport, and then if you have another come back, transport, that type of deal, if they're not seen, you know. But sometimes the investigatory agencies, you know, in Oklahoma, we have the ME's office in Oklahoma City, so that they have on-scene investigators. They're over the whole quadrant of the state. So they may have calls here and then, you know, 45, 50 miles at another place, and they may say, hey, come with me now, we got another one that more than likely is gonna go up, so you'll do both at once type of deal.
Okay.
Yeah, but the stars have to align type of deal to where you're getting multiple calls.
All right. Any other discussion on the motion? So the motion before us is to reject all bids and publish a new notice. That motion was made by me, seconded by Commissioner Mahler. That motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0.
Being a county commissioner really expands your horizons, doesn't it?
And a text line and Wichita Falls Embalming, both, sorry that we're going to have to do that, but I do think it's the best, most fair thing to do for everyone. Okay, moving along to general business item number 4. Discuss, consider, and/or take action to award bid for indigent burial cremation. And this one, to remind, we had 2 bids submitted. One from Wichita Falls Embalming, which was for $450 for adult cremation. And I believe the bid said no charge for disposition of bodies up to 18 years of age. However, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, we likely would not have any charges associated with infant burial, child cremation, infant cremation, because Medicaid would probably pay for that. They wouldn't be considered indigent. We had a bid for $450 for adult cremation. And then for Falls Funeral Home, the bid for adult cremation was $459. And then they did provide totals for infant direct burial of $950 and child cremation of $294. But our comparison is between the $450 for Wichita Falls Embalming and the $459 for Falls Funeral Home.
But that actually requires a lot of other services here? Like direct burial and,
We don't bury.
We don't. Margaret, have we had any charges for burial?
We don't do any burials at all, strictly cremations.
Yeah, it's cremation
And
for
only
adults.
for the age of 18, like he said, because we don't have any indigents from the age of 0 to 18.
Okay.
We've had
Maybe an
one,
18.
we've had an unattended infant that we buried since I've been on the court. Just one. It's been,
That would be a very rare
Yeah, that'd be a
case.
Yeah, very, it was,
really
yeah,
odd
we
case
had
for
one,
that to
one
happen.
infant burial, so.
So if you're gonna do that based on just price, it's apples to apples. You have a low bid, I recommend make a motion to take a low bid, which one is that?
Wichita Falls and Ballman.
Wichita Falls and Longview at $450.
All right, so Commissioner Fincannon has made the motion to award the bid to Wichita Falls and Ballman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion or questions on the motion or the item itself? Yes, sir.
I just want to ask the court to take into consideration of the working relations that we have with Chris, the funeral director. 14 years. He hasn't missed a burial. He consoles the family. A lot less stress on us. Thank you.
What is that? I'd like to have more information.
Yeah. We introduce, for the record.
Oh, Leon.
Yeah.
Precinct
Okay.
1, we do the burials for the county. And Chris is awesome to work.
Who's Chris? I don't know.
He's the funeral director.
For who?
Funeral Falls. For Falls.
For
Falls Funeral Home.
Falls Funeral.
Falls Funeral Home.
Yep.
And how does that play into our factor?
So relationships, customer service, all of that goes into the mix for us making a lowest and best bid determination.
Who is he with?
He's with Falls Funeral Home.
Okay.
Which was the higher bidder by $9.
And what number we're talking about annually?
Margaret, do you have that, what our total number of dollars spent,
For
cremations?
the cremations.
Oh, do you know that number?
No.
Oh, hold on one second.
I was like, how do you know?
That would have been interesting.
Right? We
But,
don't
I mean, you
know.
probably got an idea, Leon, how many
We buried
across
60,
Well, last year we done 83.
We
83?
spent last year with Falls Funeral Home 48,822.
Cause currently it's $6.99 a cremation. That's our current bid.
Yeah. So this is
Huh.
a significant reduction.
And we've been with, so Falls Funeral Home has been the winning bidder and has held the contract for, Margaret, I think you're most,
Since
since 2012.
That's
But
correct.
they've been the only bidder, haven't they?
Is that right?
I could not speak to if every year they were the only bidder. I can't speak to that, but I know that they've been who we've used since 2012.
I mean, if we look at history alone, though, Wichita Falls and Ballman had the county history for, over a decade prior to Texline getting it, so if you're looking at service history alone, that's kind of a heck of a deal,
Right, and if I remember correctly, this body, not the deficiencies in customer service was one of the things that was thrown into the mix that we considered when we made that change
Yeah.
last year. I know new owner, new entity, but this is why we get paid the big bucks, is to decide what lowest and best is here.
But
Yeah,
you're telling me we've been paying $700,
Yep.
and now, all of a sudden, miraculously, things have went down and we're able to pay $459 for that service.
Oh, I don't know, is that,
Yeah, that's what she
That's the
just said,
bid.
that's, you got a second bidder, so a little competition in the market's the same way when they come in, the bid went down from something that was a lot higher to $100 for removal, and down to less than, or right about $2 for a transport mile. So a little competition in
I
the
think
market.
competition is a good thing, but
Yeah.
I also don't know Chris, or I don't know the relationship there.
Chris is the funeral home director for Falls, and he's been awesome. I mean, he brings it.
But I do
we
find
do a
it,
burial.
I do find it a little bit like Jeff, like Commissioner Watt said, I find that a little odd that we're all of a sudden dropping a large amount. That does instill that competition is a good thing,
It is.
so.
And I'm the funeral director for Asbury Mortuary / Wichita Falls and Bum.
Right.
So, and my wife, she's a director as well.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
To me, it makes Falls crematories here in town. Makes sense to me, Wichita County, bodies stay in Wichita County, there's crematories in Oklahoma.
That's true. But, you know,
My opinion.
it's just the final, you know, the cremation, where the cremation's being handled. And I also have the capacity to cremate larger bodies as well, so.
Is there a place in this for liability insurance, those type things?
That is
that a factor? in this deal?
It is required in the RFP. Find it. Well, I thought it was. Well, I guess we can ask both of our entities.
This one is a lowest and or best, is it? I mean, that's the way we
Lowest
do.
and best.
Lowest and best. That's the way we've done the rest of these things. And just a point of order, you know, we've got a motion and I seconded the motion, but then I acquired other information after that. So I don't know what the procedure is there.
Well, you can withdraw your
Yeah,
second.
and I may until the discussion is over. That's,
Just a little more info for you guys.
Sure.
From January to November 30th, because we don't have the December bill, we did 68 cremations last year.
68.
All at $6.99.
That is correct.
Unless we think we need a transport bid, I don't see the
I don't
liability
see it in there.
requirement for that one.
We do carry a high, we're like 2 million for my liability insurance.
I mean, I would assume there'd be some kind of an industry guideline or standard or whatever to.
Based on the 68, if we did that in next year, there's a $612 difference as far as monetary costs. Now, the value to the service provided by the director is not something I can put a dollar on.
But you're talking about the $9 difference.
Yeah, between the two
Yeah.
bids, the 450, 459, it's a $612 difference.
Yeah, but year over year,
Right.
it's about $15,000.
Exactly.
Due to the higher cost, right?
Yeah, what we were paying last
Right,
year
right,
versus
right.
what we're paying.
The historic cost.
Right.
Gotcha.
So it's not on my spreadsheet. There were only, in the RFP itself, there are 7 specific line items for adult direct cremation. This spreadsheet has 5 line items. Falls Funeral Home has a number in there, Wichita Falls and Ballman just has a total. Nancy, do you have the bids themselves with you? For these two?
Do I have them?
The bids.
Oh, no, I don't. I have them electronically. I can print them off.
And the reason I ask is, if I remember correctly, there was a discussion about transportation cost.
Okay, on Falls Funeral, for transportation of remains to the funeral home, it says NA. For cremation. And that is the case on all of theirs.
It's all included. Anything within Wichita County is included with that price. So there's not gonna be any mileage or anything like that. It's all included on that one cost.
And there is no transportation cost on WF embalming, we did not include one. So it should be.
And the burials we're doing, Leon, it's strictly ashes, right?
Apparently,
Correct.
we've only done one.
It's been a while since we've done,
So you have done one that was cremated? See, I didn't realize that. I thought it was
Jim, I
all.
just sent you the bids.
Huh?
I sent you a copy of the bid.
I brought my phone up. It's old-fashioned paper, guys.
And Margaret, the number that you had, for falls last year was,
Thank you.
didn't you give us a number, or was that,
Yeah, there was a spreadsheet.
I sent you a spreadsheet.
how much was that total?
Let me find it.
48,822. That does have a few
What were those few?
first calls.
That's $70 first call that we get.
Right. But
What
the-
is that? What does that mean or
It's
represent?
in the contract, and I'm being honest with you, I don't know I think it's when, I'm not positive, but I think it's when they're called, I don't know why. I don't know, I'm sorry. It's in the contract for $70 for any indigent client that we have. So they charge it for every single person, but I think it's charged to the family for just picking them up, just being the first ones there is my guess. But we are charged that for all indigent healthcare clients. We're not charged it if they're not an indigent healthcare client.
Yeah, but that's $1,300 higher than what just the cremation charges are. If I take 48,822 and I had 68 cremations at $699, that's 47,532. So the difference of $1,300 falls in first charges?
Yeah, first charges, it's $1,290.
And if you look at the last page of their bid, it says that they're gonna follow that, what has previously been done. It doesn't spell it out in numbers, but it says on the last page of their bid that they're gonna charge what they've been charging, which is the $70 for every Wichita County indigent client.
Now, did both of them put that $70
No,
charge?
just
No,
Falls
just
Funeral
Falls
did
Funeral.
that.
It's an addendum from 2015.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's what they reference in their bid, that they're gonna continue to charge that. So you can, if, I'm not picking one side or the other, but if we pick them, you can expect to be,
It's $459 plus 70 for
Yes.
indigent.
that's
Yes.
correct.
Yes, the addendum says, if they transport the body from the place of death or other holding facility to its facility, then Falls Funeral Home may bill the county an additional charge of $70 for transportation service.
And that's in the
And-
bid submitted.
And that would
Yeah.
come up to 18 and a half people at 70. Is that all the indigent people that we have out of 68? The rest aren't indigent?
Yeah, we did 18 last year. I think one was a little higher because it might have been had a disaster body bag with it, so it had a little higher cost.
So am I to understand then that the real price is not $459, it's $420, it's $529?
For
It
Falls.
could be.
Could be.
Oh,
It could be.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In 18 instances last year it was.
It was, okay.
Right.
And it was also 700 in last year, 70 plus 699. This year, it'd be 459 plus 70.
All right, so
We want to get it right.
yeah, so
That's
just so that everyone's on where we are procedurally here, we've got a motion to approve Wichita Falls Embalming's bid that was made by Commissioner Fincannon and seconded by Commissioner Mahler.
That was before all this discussion that we just had, which is
Was
what's
indeed.
troubling me a little bit.
Well, Barry, though, truthfully, I'm troubled the opposite direction because we've been paying through the nose to some extent, and that's not right. And, you know, it's one thing if you send me a check back for 68 times the $200, but that wasn't in the bid.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, I get it, a competitive bid is always gonna bring, usually, or let's say usually, not always, gonna bring a, good value. That's kind of the process, that's why we do it. And 2 weeks ago, we thought buying rock was difficult.
Well, so, do you still wanna keep your second out there, or do you wanna?
No, I'm gonna revoke it for now,
Okay.
because I'm still studying, and I apologize for that.
So,
I'm still good with my
we've,
motion.
we've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon to approve.
and I'll second that.
Okay. Now restate the motion. We're gonna approve.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Watts, to award the bid to Wichita Falls Embalming for indigent cremation and burial.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments, discussion, thoughts, non sequiturs, sidebars on the motion or the item itself?
I do want to make one comment.
Okay.
We take their bid. If there's problems with their bid later on down the line, whether it be a month from now or 2 months from now, we can always put it back on the agenda and make a court action to change it. I don't see a reason to take a bid that's that far difference in money and not pass it just because we don't know how the relationship will be with somebody that we haven't worked with yet. It's clearly a lower bid,
Well-
and that's just my opinion. I just wanted to address the court.
And I would say it's one thing if you're talking about a difference of a couple of dollars, and it's another thing if it's a bigger difference too. So, and this one does seem to be a little bigger than that. Okay. Any other discussion, comments before we? All right. The motion is before us again to award the bid for Wichita Falls Embalming. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. All right. Now we will go to item number 5, which is discuss, consider, and or take action to approve Cornerstone quote dated December 14, 2023 for cameras at the LEC for a cost of $37,719 to be paid from LEC bond funds. Captain Patterson reached out yesterday. There may be more to it than just the cameras, and so she has suggested we pull that down for now. Then I know it even got more complicated. Chief said that another issue happened overnight that may be unrelated or may be related to the same problem that's been costing us cameras. So with all of that said, until we figure out what's actually going on, I'm going to pull down this item unless there is objection.
No, I'd actually asked Brendan to do some more research on it as well, so.
Okay. Then with no objection, item number 5 is pulled off the agenda for discussion.
Did we go to generated power at all last night?
No, we did not, but we had cameras fail with the high winds. So, don't know what was causing this.
Okay.
Cameras fail because of the high wind?
I don't know the high winds caused it, we had cameras fail last night, and that's the only thing different was the winds.
So they come back up when
No, they're still down.
they're still.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going to skip ahead to item number 8, which is discuss, consider, and or take action on presentation of guaranteed maximum price for the 30th District Courtroom renovation project. Glenda, Matt, do we start with y'all? Do we start with who wants to start with presentation?
We can either show pictures first and then back it up with the money, or we can show the money first, and then as we go through the pictures, you can understand. I mean, it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg, but.
Brendan, are you running the presentation? Are you comfortable enough with being able to pull up while they talk?
Yeah, I can pull the pictures out.
Then let's do that. Go ahead and talk, and we'll pull pictures up as you.
Okay,
Show us the
let's-
pictures for the
let's
money.
talk.
I'll have it bad.
Do we have a supplement or anything? There's not.
Do you have packets of the stuff?
No, we were told y'all had the packets.
We sent y'all that stuff last.
I thought you said you were bringing them.
What's all right, we have pictures.
Hold on,
Well, I would
let's,
ask
let's
more.
let's take the couple of minutes to print out the information. So,
I will.
hold on a second.
Well then, in that case, do you want me to talk about pictures?
Talk about pictures while we get the packets printed.
Okay. So what we went back in our records and looked for some pictures that we had taken general courtroom of before the water damage was done. This was for another, but we had some old pictures in the past of the courthouse in general, and we found some of the courtroom. So if you remember the, and Judge could, yeah, here you are still. He could describe the courtroom better probably than anybody, but this is from the front jury box top area, looking back over the main seating area, pews, combination pews, chairs, combination everything. The walls were standard plywood walls that were just stained plywood, very flat ceiling, very low because of where the air conditioning is, and you go on one more. This is just a walk down memory lane. The judge's bench in the corner with the tiny little door behind it.
Is that carpet a different color than the other carpet?
That was the carpet that was in there prior to us changing the carpet to that multicolored green.
Like I said, we
That's not the
went
carpet that was in there on
back
Friday.
a ways to find these pictures because we had not taken these pictures
Bob was still around, so. There you go.
before,
The only thing that changed was the carpet.
before we knew that the water damage was going on. Go ahead. The ramp that took you up to the jury box and the witness box, and then the jury room is off to the side. Of course, none of this meets ADA code at all. The ramp is not compliant. The handrail's not compliant. But again, walk down memory lane. Okay, go ahead. Then the water damage happened. And so this is from like the doors coming into the courtroom, looking to your right. That is air conditioning duct that is a return air grill right there. It's obviously the windows, so it's the exterior side. I don't know what I just swallowed.
Yeah.
Air conditioning ducts
Water is a distraction.
hang way down low. That's
Mhm.
why we can't lift the ceiling or, you know, the problems with why that ceiling is so low. Okay, go ahead. This is, again, from the back, looking towards where the judge's bench was.
And that duct, Glenda, is carrying air over to the lawyer's lounge?
Yes.
And does it carry it to Jeff's office too? And
Actually, I think that,
That
Jeff, I
one-
think that one just serves the court, those grills that are up there above the door.
Goes to the other side.
It's a supply grill that actually comes overhead and then feeds back. And then the
See,
return
there-
air was what, you know, what looked like the fireplace that was there, but it's not. That's a return air grill to that unit that's in the closet in the hallway. There's another separate unit back in the back of the judge's suite that has,
Feeds
serves
the
kind of that
judge's
whole
office,
area.
and, yeah. This is from the front and then looking towards back. Again, the fireplace is the return air grill, windows. And same, but just a little bit the other direction. Then we found, once all that water damage was cleaned up and everything else, when we start looking up, there is significant concrete damage that's from the 4th floor. When you go to the 4th floor, it has been topped, and so there is not a structural issue, But when you go to tie anything to the ceilings, like what you've got there, those ties hold the ceiling panels and light fixtures and other things
Why,
like that.
why has that done that, Glenda? Heavy weight on the fourth floor?
No,
That was jail
this would, that
above,
was,
so-
there's concrete and jail above that, and there's still concrete, because if you're on the fourth floor, you don't see that, metal that's there. They've poured concrete over that. It was either done during construction of the jail up there on the fourth floor, because they didn't necessarily find chunks of concrete.
So they were already gone.
They were already
So
gone.
history, that, the first floor was built in 57, and then they came back in 61 and built the subsequent floors over the top of it. So this could likely be damage that was done in that construction from 57 to 61.
Right. But the problem is, for us to tie anything to it now, we can't tie to that. And so as part of the project, what we've got is to basically underdeck instead of overdeck, underdeck the entire thing with plywood that will connect to the beams, the bigger part that you see coming towards you, that the plywood will connect to that, and then we'll be able to connect light fixture hangers, ceiling hangers, other things, duct hangers that we'll have in there.
Is there more than just that spot, Glenda?
There's
Yeah,
a
go
couple
ahead.
other Brendan.
Brendan.
Wow.
And I had asked Mark about taking a field trip and y'all going and looking at it right quick, but we just decided to show pictures instead if y'all want to after court.
Jeff, that's kind of spooky. That could have hit somebody in the head, fall right through that ceiling.
Not sure I wanna stand there and look at it. Hey, Glenda, you're saying that's not a structural problem? Which kinda surprises me.
The
because
T's are still in good shape, and that's
Yeah,
the structure.
structurally
Structurally,
you're
you're
fine.
fine. It's fine.
So then you go on to, and this isn't because of the picture of the lovely furniture in this room, but we wanted to remind you and show you the dental work, that's the intricate work that's at the columns up on fourth floor, and the work, and you'll notice that in this particular picture, all the capitals are cut out on that one wall. You can see one that was encased down here on the floor, and it's in that little like trophy case looking little thing that used to be down on first floor, and currently it's residing up on fourth floor in the workroom. But those are the capitals that are around this old room, and all the fine dental work that's at those column capitals. It was so beautiful, absolutely so beautiful. And all that is plaster work, which is very difficult to recreate at this point. So as the floor plan sits, and we went over the floor plans quite significantly with you, but the floor plan sits, this is the plan where we've got the gallery and then the pit area, the jury box, and then the entire judge's bench area. So as we're moving forward in these next couple of pictures, that's the area we're talking about. So the recreating in an ADA compliant room, this would be, I would call the equal to what you've got, equal to what it was.
Also called the base bid on our
Base
stuff.
bid. Oh, I just got corrected.
Yeah. And that is actually.
That's
alternate.
This is
alternate
alternate
one.
one with the cedar.
The ceiling would not have the fur downs. The ceiling, you can imagine where it is down right now, it would be basically straight across there at that point. That would be the base bid, the insurance equal. Okay, this then is alternate one, where we do the minimal. We've got the fur downs along the edge. The ceiling is raised a little bit in the middle. But again, it takes into consideration all the ADA factors, and the jury box is got ADA accessibility, and then the door goes out to the lawyer's lounge / new jury room.
One thing to point out here is mechanically, when we started digging into it, those units, and get with Ricky about what was going on there, they're at their end of life. In fact, they passed that by 10 years or so. And so they were in need of replacement. So that was added to the project, and they've had issues with heating and cooling in that space too, according to Jeff. And so this alternate number one includes replacing the mechanical units that feed that with new units and rerouting ductwork, hence the perimeter furring, similar to what you've got in this courtroom.
Okay, so that was gonna be one of my questions. The base bid does not include.
Base bid does not
It's just,
include
that's just
any
the build
mechanical
back
work.
as it was.
Yep,
And
yeah, using existing ductwork, all that kind of stuff.
Alternate one also includes the extra meeting rooms
Yes, yes.
and the security features.
Mhm.
Right, right.
That we
We were
talked
just
about
talking
both.
about
The
the courtroom
Right.
itself. But yes, alternate one has additional things outside the courtroom that are not shown here. And then go on.
Just
Closer, up close view of the judge's bench. This then picks up alternate two, which picks up in, when we did the renderings, Matt did not go in and do all the fine dental work, but there's, not in plaster, but in wood, there is, along the coffers, we're raising and lowering the ceiling and doing a light change, but we're also putting in, rope and, egg and rope, wood.
Egg and dart, rope,
Egg and dart and rope.
dental,
Dental work,
So,
but it's wood, not plastic.
yeah, it's from the exact plan from the 16
Right.
build. It's
Go on
taken
one.
verbatim from the plan.
That's the pattern for the ceiling, that's looking up at the ceiling. So all the little detail,
the wave.
yeah, the little connection look, and go on one more. Then there's all the rope and the little dental and the egg shapes. Those are all out of wood now as opposed to plaster. But that alternate two puts all of that, so that courtroom will be very much like where it comes up in the center, very much like what that fourth floor courtroom looks like.
And there's also a contingency in the alternate to put the eagle columns back in behind the judge's bench. We have an opportunity, since we're removing the HVAC in the one room adjacent to the courtroom that was shown, we can get back to some of the eagles that are there and remove the originals, repurpose them, and make them part of the new courtroom.
That's the judge's bench back about the mounts, is that what
That's
referring
part
to?
of, yeah, that's that, and the tile work, so we weren't really set on what to put back. We've gone with tile and marble and different surfaces, so that contingencies to
You can see where
address
there's
all of
like a
that.
circle behind the guy that's standing behind his head. That's not a halo. But there's something on that back wall back behind the judge would be in that general area, and then at the capitals on each side of,
would be the eagles,
yeah,
the original eagles.
right. We know that they're removable because we've seen all the ones that I showed you that were gone, but that one that's been taken off and is in that trophy case thing is there and I guess available too.
That's probably the one that used to sit in the sheriff's office.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
That's the one.
Yeah. So, but that's where we're talking about. Okay, so now the money part. I'll let Shane.
Yep.
Hold on.
Oh,
Is
questions?
the I noticed you showed the seating in there. Is it gonna be benches or is it gonna be chairs?
That is not in the contract at this point. That's outside of the contract, and so we don't know whether we're gonna put.
So is it in this money?
The request has been
It
to
is
put
not
back
in this
benches.
I like the benches
Yeah,
myself.
Jeff,
But it's
what-
not in the contract?
I'd like to see benches go back in. I understand that from an ADA standpoint, there may have to be a combination parts to it that's removable for a wheelchair. I think benches allow for more seating, frankly, allows for more options. I like the look of the benches. I think it would just look a lot better with benches. You lose a lot of functionality when you have chairs with arms on them.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen that in the new area, not to mention the fact that chairs are become a weapon in the courtrooms. So it's a security issue to have just untied together chairs.
How many of our, and I don't remember, I'm sorry, how many of our benches that were in the 30th survived? Do we know yet? Do we have a final?
There were some that were damaged in the move. I think all of them were repairable from a water damage standpoint.
They would obviously probably need to be stained a different color to match this,
Yeah, well,
but
can you get them to that?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the
But
question.
didn't they have, Mark, wasn't it, what's that called, the wood over wood? Veneer?
Veneer.
Is that what those benches had on
I
them?
I believe they're all solid.
Oh, okay.
Solid.
I have seen in church work restoration of pews, and so I know that it's possible. I'd have to, I mean.
Anything's possible with enough money.
Exactly. I'd have to check the value of what
Yeah.
sanding and everything would be.
Glenda, how much other stuff other than the benches aren't in this $1.5 million bid?
Our fees are not included in that. Our fees are always separate. There should not be.
Is there more furniture?
Testing, the furniture, like,
There's no
typically what we say is if you can take the building, room, whatever, turn it upside and shake it, and if it falls out, that's not included in our bids. There's been rare exception when the client specifically said, we want you to go ahead and include the furniture, like over at the annex, because it was very integral with the electricity and all sort of stuff that we included that. But otherwise, we don't always, and we shouldn't not, because you shouldn't pay our fee on top of something to get a piece of furniture that you can go purchase.
We would
And
be,
so the tables, the chairs, even the jury box chairs, like the judge's chair, all of that would not be, but what you see, the bench itself and all of the woodwork, not these two tables in front and not the jury box chairs, but everything else would be included. So yes, there is a little bit outside the contract that you will have to complete the courtroom.
The IT technology is outside.
We did work with what we knew from
From Visionality.
the temporary and Brendan got the locations and boxes and conduit and everything fit in for it. But the actual IT, that's another one of those things that y'all can purchase outside the contract.
How would you incorporate the IT into like this design? I mean,
It's
you got to
all
have
been,
screens and,
it's all been accounted for, and it's
Really?
pretty much set in there hidden, so
okay,
you won't, it won't be readily apparent when you walk in,
which
so.
is great.
Yeah.
You make that work. I just,
What does that, when you talk about all of that bench, chairs, and technology, what's the guesstimate on that?
So, memory serves, we're at, about 70 per courtroom with the Visionality. It's gonna be it's the same equipment that we'd be putting in here
so we're
70
talking,
on IT, how much on the benches?
on the pews. I have no idea.
yeah, we
I have
don't,
no idea.
I mean, first thing we got to decide if they can be restored, I would assume.
or how much they cost new.
It's true. tremendous upgrade from where
Mhm.
our memories that we looked at there a few minutes ago.
Well, and I'll remind the court of this too. Even on the, this is for everything, including furniture, not the IT portion, but insurance will be paying for replacement of things that were lost.
So they'll make us whole to,
I don't know if they will make us
Yeah,
whole, but up to
supposedly,
a
yeah.
significant portion, up to whole on the base bid, plus some extra for furniture replacement and that.
But in this 1.5, does that include Jeff's space in the back?
Yes.
Yeah, that's everything. It's,
Not
And that's all
furniture.
that's,
not the
that
furniture,
secures-
desk and all that need, but it's the upgrade, even the lawyer's lounge area, all of that.
yeah, lawyer's
which makes
lounge
that-
becomes 3 different rooms.
Okay.
Security hallway gets built, so
Okay.
it's a closed hallway.
And I'd also point out that also what that does is it changes the current jury room into a meeting room that has a corridor down to it. The lawyer's lounge now becomes the jury room. You have 2 rooms within the jury room where one which is secured behind the security door, one which is not, where you can then have, like during dockets or during criminal trials, I can have in custody inmates meeting in 2 separate locations, which is invaluable during docket.
Okay.
It also includes, if you look on the left-hand side of that, those 2 little sections by themselves, on the middle left, that's where the current soda machine, snack lounge areas, that becomes 2 additional rooms that lawyers can meet with clients during docket days instead of having those conversations out in the hallway. So the amount of space and Harper Perkins did a great job of adding in these things that really will change the way that we operate on, well, any given day, but especially like on Fridays and Thursdays. So my current funnel, neck of the funnel for criminal docket is inmates meeting with their lawyers. I have a singular room. Well, as soon as this is open, I have 3, all within a secured area.
And for our purposes on evaluating, all of the extra work for the whole suite is included in alternate 1 and 2, or is it also accounted for in the base bid?
There is a little bit that's accounted for in the base bid, but the areas, you see the little dashes, the around, that's alternate 1. So everything that's on the floor plan as, without the little dashes around it,
Is base?
is base.
Okay.
And then-
Basically, just putting back the original rooms to where they were.
Yeah.
With the exception of the jury room.
88
because
requirements.
88
88
requirements.
requirements,
were-
It had to be done no matter what.
If I'm understanding you correctly, we're shooting for a large percent of the 990 back. So maybe 800, maybe 900.
Yeah, impossible to know ahead of time, but, yeah, a significant portion, up to maybe even all of it. Because we will provide, Harper Perkins in doing these bids for us provided they did a set of plans to comply with what TAC was gonna require for insurance purposes.
But I
to
was
restore.
thinking it was closer to 1.3. Was it not? Tax?
Well, I mean,
To
Furniture.
put it back?
that includes for some furniture replacement, and also, I think that also includes some of the already
The
expended
demolition
money
that's
to
already
demo.
been taken care of.
Oh, okay.
And I think,
Okay.
Linda, can I ask you a question? And I think you know about what percentage, I mean, you can usually ballpark what you think furniture will be. In a rough, I'm not saying anything you're being held to, but a percentage of that bill.
The problem with me taking a swag
Right.
at it is benches versus chairs. I
Don't know.
can't even begin to take a difference there. If it were standard office furniture, yeah, I could do a better swag, but
Courtrooms are different.
yeah, very. And so, you know, what type of, and again, qualities of furniture make, whether it's a veneer or whether it's a solid wood bench, makes a huge difference. so I have no idea. I would be amiss if I said something, but I'll stick my neck out as far as I can and say, I don't think you're gonna do it for less than $250.
That's agreed.
I
would agree because you're doing several rooms back there
Yeah,
also.
you've got conference room tables in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 conference room tables. Those aren't cheap. And then all the chairs that go with all those conference room tables.
What do we have from pre-flood that can be reconditioned? So there was conference tables that were there pre-flood that can be used in the smaller conference
and I
rooms.
have no knowledge of that.
So that's a separate evaluation down the road.
And insurance, again, will cover a portion of the furniture costs too.
So it's really three things. It's approve the bill back for insurance purposes, approve addendum 1 or alternate one, which brings in the extra rooms, the extra security, which is the extra security is in keeping with Office of Court Administration's request that we've discussed. So that fits within the future security plan for the courthouse.
And mechanical.
And mechanical that's
'Cause that's
in desperate need.
And the mechanical's in one?
It's an alternate
It's an
one.
alternate one.
And
So the only difference really is the ceiling,
The ceiling.
the 149,000?
Ceiling and the mechanical and the roofs, the additional.
he's asking the difference between 1 and 2.
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
whoa, I'm sorry.
1 and 2 is
Yes,
really
yes.
mostly the ceiling and
I
the eagle
misunderstood.
columns,
Yes.
adding the eagles back in.
So I'm understanding that the security challenges that the judge pointed out a while ago are gonna be addressed in all of the proposals.
No,
Alternate
alternate
1 and
one.
alternate 2, alternate 1 and
Because that's been a concern of ours for years. I mean, we talked about that long before we had a flood, Judge. You dealt with it, and it's been a serious concern, and it's gotta be remedied. We've gotta do it.
So it's all really looking at the ceiling and trying to bring back what the courthouse was originally back in 16, or at least a homage to the 16 courtroom.
Why did we ever abandon that deal?
Well, that's
I
the
don't know.
question.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
And remember back in 61, for $26,000, we could still have our old original courthouse.
Oh, man. That is.
$26,000
For
that
anybody that's never
we
been up
cheaped
there,
out
you
on.
can't believe
and-
how neat it really is when you walk in
and-
the room.
I had Jeff kind of run the math a little bit for me. So for the average home in Wichita County, the taxable evaluation's $139,000. So taking that into account and figuring that 1 cent equals $1 million. Well, I went to Frank and Joe's this morning, good coffee. I could buy about half that cup of coffee with my tax, one half a cup of coffee for a year is what the amount is to the average homeowner to do that extra ceiling. Less than a half a cup of coffee.
If I may, I believe we still have ARPA funds that were allotted to, capital improvements that would actually pay for this and not be property taxes.
I thought we already.
Not all, we allocated $10.3 million to permanent improvement, and not all that 10.3 has been spent.
Okay.
So,
Even better.
so for less than a half a cup of coffee, we can put the courthouse, not back right, we're not gonna ever undo what was done in 61, but we will at least pay homage to what the courthouse was originally in its original state back in 16.
So for the purposes of us trying to, in our heads, put all of the buckets together so we know what dollar amount we're looking at. There's this. There's going to be the Harper Perkins fees separately, which based on our discussion this morning, I know when the very beginning of this way back 20%'s the number, this is more likely to be closer to 10%? Okay. Furniture, which is going to be probably around 250,000, and then the IT portion is gonna be between 70 and 100,000. They're all just guesses, and pretty educated ones.
And do we add to this 180 here is on top of the 1.513?
No.
No.
It's inside of it?
Yes.
Okay.
And some of the technology may have already been paid for as part that was set aside for,
Already for the old 30th?
yes,
Okay.
so that,
Yeah,
it may
no,
not
we
be.
used it all in the temporary.
Don't,
I think we reallocated what was for the 30th to the
because we still have an
temporary.
open PO, so.
Okay.
Well, I say let's move forward.
With which plan?
With the two.
Number two.
You're not,
It is
you're not
set to
just,
difference.
you're taking
between
the
these two
base bid,
numbers.
alternate
You
one
adjust
and
that.
alternate two.
Yep.
You don't
Which will
just
be-
take one piece of
I
it.
know.
Well, I hope you don't just take.
So we changed it to 2.5.
No,
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 the
it's-
1.5 number includes everything.
Which-
That's-
The second column is the running balance.
Yes, okay.
so
You just gave me.
our original
Sorry.
estimate back before the flood ever occurred, and we originally looked at this for budget purposes, what was that?
When we looked at it before the flood, yeah, we had 2.8, 2.2 to 2.8.
And that was just the architectural and construction, not furniture or technology
Right,
in that.
and then we
estimate.
added the after water damage, and then it started going up, and it went up to a total of 2.33.0.
Yeah.
So we're half of what I'd estimated it at.
Have you figured, it's 4,500 square feet, what the cost per square foot is under this guaranteed maximum price for alternate two?
Well, it'd be half, so 200.
Well, isn't the difference 150? That's what I'm doing.
Yes.
It's 150,000 plus that, there'll be a little more fee, but that's the big numbers.
To make it pretty. To make it mimic the original 16 courtroom.
For a project that's going to serve Wichita County for possibly the next 50 years.
Barring any floods.
Well, yeah, we're gonna bar floods.
I mean, if I may, I think if you look at the current, or what was the current courtroom, how long was it there?
Good
Since
point.
61.
Yeah.
Since 1961 with zero change.
Which doesn't seem that long ago,
Which-
Judge. but it has been. It has
Seems
been.
like a long time to me because I wasn't even born yet.
But when you look at that, how
Yeah.
long, and frankly, it was
60 plus,
functional,
yeah.
don't get me wrong, but it was not pretty by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And the functionality of that courtroom and the surrounding areas, times have changed. And the things that we're having to do under these bids are substantially different because of ADA, because of security issues. I mean, the fact that the bench moves to the center, that's purely because of ADA. It helps a lot with functionality. And I'll give Harper Perkins and M&F a lot of credit when we were going through these things. When I was talking to them about what I needed out of the court and the things that we needed to see to really help us, they quickly instituted. And what you see here in these plans incorporates all of that. And I've talked to other judges in other courthouses, in other counties, and other types of settings, and incorporated all the things that I've learned through this and conferences and OCA's recommendations, and all of that has come in to this. I don't think it's gonna be any secret. I'd like to see you approve option 2. I think that gives the opportunity to bring it, look around what's happening in this courthouse, look down this hallway, and compare to what it used to be. When I started with Wichita County in 2006, we called this area the dungeon.
It was.
'Cause that's what it was.
You throw in excess furniture in one of those rooms on the side.
If you wanted something new, i.e. new to you, you came and looked at the furniture heap that was in this area. And look at it now. Look at your opportunities on 4 and 5. Look at the woodwork that's being done on 3. To not continue that into the courtrooms, to me, is a lost opportunity, especially in light of the fact that you've got insurance money that's helping.
You know, Judge, I look up and down this bench and I see 5 very practical people.
Yeah.
That have, and which is the reason Wichita County is not deep in debt, why this is a well-managed operation. But just looking at those pictures, and I know this has nothing to do with the material end of this thing, the difference in the atmosphere of those 2 different pictures just struck me. That when you walk in that courtroom, that number 2 just has that feeling of, this is a district court. This is a place that means something. Where, you know, important things happen here. I know that's hoity-toity, but it is part of the deal.
And I will tell you also, I have an interview on Friday with a mandatory employee that I have to have, otherwise I can't operate. I'm going to be showing you this picture to say this is what you're going to get to work in an effort to try to recruit them.
So to recap where we are, Commissioner Watts, I think you made the motion to proceed with alternate plan 2 so setting a guaranteed maximum price and adopting that of $1,513,596. Who made the second? You did.
Jeff will sell his backhoe if we need to.
And I will, just from a budgetary standpoint, this is even if ARPA doesn't come through. Hold on, Matt. What?
You need to make the motion to accept base bid, alternate 1, and alternate 2.
We need to accept all 3 of them separately?
No.
All the above.
You have to
Okay.
say it all.
All right, I will recap the motion momentarily.
Okay.
We in the 2024 budget put $6 million into permanent improvement. When insurance comes in and takes care of, I would be shocked if it wasn't about 60% of even that total cost with the alternate 2 all the way up. We're going to be in very, very good shape with whatever other stuff might happen this year. So I just wanted to put that out there too. Of this body made plans to make sure we knew this was coming and we were prepared for it. So with that said, the motion by Commissioner Watts and seconded by Commissioner Fincannon was to approve the base bid of $990,405. Alternate 1 bid, which adds $373,296, and the alternate 2 of $149,895. And added together, that equals $1,513,596. Okay. We've got a lot of folks in the courtroom. Do we have anyone else who'd like to make a comment, ask questions, anything on that motion or on the item itself?
I just want to say that I appreciate you taking steps forward to make the courthouse look better and like it used to look. As a taxpayer, not as an employee, but as an employee too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Robert Bauer. I'm chairman of the County Historical Commission, and we have Carol Rudd, who's our county archivist here today, and John Yates, who's our tech person, and he's in charge of historical research. We're here today to support what you've just said. And Commissioner Beecham gave us a tour of the upper floors and what all was going to be done. He really talked about the historical structural integrity and the spirit, and to use Barry's word, I like the word memory. I think that's really good. We are very pleased, and we're here today to show our support for you because of the consideration you have given to the historical integrity and nature of this courthouse. We applaud you because when we left after the tour with Commissioner Beecham, we were highly impressed with how the historical nature was being kept all the way through, and everywhere it could be used. We love the Eagles too, but again, we totally are supportive of what you're doing and how you're having it. And that's why we're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Responding.
Appreciate it.
Some of us would like those eagles to be hawks, but that's.
Then we'd have to do a bulldog and a maverick and what else? A leopard. So.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any other questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Call for the question.
All right, then the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right, we're not done yet.
Toilet paper.
Now we're going to go,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
We're gonna move back up to item number 6, which is discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve Thomson Reuters invoice number 849502668 in the amount of $6,617 for online software subscription for the law library to be paid from Department 242 or by transfer from Department 409 with lines determined by the county auditor. Cheryl or Margaret, whoever's, do you mind explaining a little bit behind this one?
Yeah, the invoice is over $5,000 for starters, but it is a late year invoice, and that fund is running low on its budget, and we are waiting to get some things posted, like the payroll accruals and so forth. It's really close to busting, so this will just take care of it in case
It's a preemptive in case
it's a
it's
preemptive.
necessary. Thank y'all.
And it might not be fully busted by 6,600, but I don't know where we're at on that. So this is just preemptive.
So moved, Judge.
Second. And that's out of 23?
Yes.
All right, so we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve invoice, Thomson Reuters invoice 849502668 in the amount of $6,617. Do we have any questions, comments on the motion or the item?
Should that say that it's out of 23 budget, not 24, or does it matter? Since we're in 24.
We can clarify if that would be helpful. So the motion, I'm going to amend the motion, if that's okay, Commissioner Watts, to approve the invoice to be paid from 2023 budget Department 242 or by transfer from Department 409. Thank you, Commissioner McCann. All right, any questions, comments on the motion of the item? All right, the motion before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Now let's do item number 2. Open and take action as necessary on bids for janitor and paper supplies. My favorite. I get to read a lot.
Ooh, we got a whole stack of it. First one, Judge, Empire Paper.
You about to get papered over.
I am.
Yeah.
All right, so this is for Empire Paper Company. Oh, gosh.
3.
All right, here we go. For bid list A, sanitary and paper products for jumbo toilet tissue 2-ply 2,000 feet, $36.40. For 2-ply 500 roll, $51.65. For paper roll, paper towel roll, 8 inches by 350 feet, $28.75. What's this?
That's the next one, but I'm gonna lay the examples right there for you. Carry on.
For paper towel box, $4,023.83.
Right.
For powderless vinyl gloves, $28 for 100 in a box. For half fold Protecto seat covers, $48.72. Hand body soap, $70.08 for 3 packages of 1,250 milliliters. For disinfectant deodorant spray in cans, 12 cans, $48.92. Deodorant spray without disinfectant cans, 12 cost $44.87. For metered deodorant spray for 6, it's $24.75. For powdered laundry detergent, it's $69.93. For linen disinfectant for a can, for 12 is $48.92. Spring Breeze disinfectant spray, 12 per case is $48.92. For Health Guards urinal screen, it's $14.26 for a case. We're a quarter of the way there, folks.
With the first bid.
With the first bid.
Actually, you're not, but go ahead.
Thank you. For bid list B, which is for floor care products and equipment, for floor stripper for a 5-gallon pail is $59.94. 20-inch buffing pads are for 5 in a case, $13.22. For 24-ounce rayon ribbed mop head 3 per box is $23.99. For a saddle, 24-ounce rayon and mop head is $7.98 each. 16-ounce rayon ribbed mop head fantail 3 per box, $18.85. Fiberglass mop handle, $20.94. Plastic dustpan, $3.56. 24-quart yellow mop bucket with ringer, $99.76. For a funnel type ringer and bucket combo for a 35-quart is $125.24. Bid list C, cleaning products and equipment. For a case of 12 toilet bowl cleaner, $31.86. Damp mop, $27.74. 32-ounce spray bottle, 73 cents. Trigger sprayer, 73 cents. 12 to 16 gallon can liner, 6 milliliter. Case of 100s, $30.99. 33 gallon can liner, case of 500s, $45.71. 60 gallon can liner, case of 200 is $42.19. 56 gallon can liner, case of 150 is $38.12. Toilet bowl brush, not mop, is $3.96 each. 10% industrial bleach is $31.45 for 4 gallons. Pine oil concentrate is $49.87 a case. Old English furniture oil is $26.98 for a case of 6. A 10-inch floor deck scrub brush is $6.50 each. Wiping cloths, Turkish towel, finished edges. A box is $67.60, and an angle broom is $11.80. Oh, sorry. And for office paper, 5,000 sheets for 8.5 by 11 is $48.90. 8.5 by 14, $70. 11 by 17 for 2,500 sheets, $51.98. For green bar computer paper is $102.92 for 14 7/8 by 11.5 for 9.5 by 11 computer paper with 1 part micro perforations. Is this?
We don't even use
No, we
green
don't
bar
even use
anywhere
it.
in the county.
Well, it's $61.42 on the bid. And for pink copy paper,
We try to keep
We don't use
those
big copy
modernized.
paper.
it's $124.28 for 5,000.
Toner for the
Those
dot
are
matrix
green,
printer.
green prices.
Those are.
Yeah.
We need to go back and change our RFP.
It's not since 2021.
Right.
What was that Turkish towel again, Judge?
Yeah. Thank you. All right, and that was the Empire paper bid. They,
Comprehensive.
well, I was trying to see if they had said that they could change, but let's see that here.
Who gets to sort this out, Margaret?
That would be a cooperative effort between our offices and the auditor's office.
And the maintenance department.
And the
In-
maintenance.
Interborough,
housekeeping
that
and
goes
jail.
And
This is all-
housekeeping and the
yeah,
jail.
this
together,
is
Judge,
their-
and it's a
their
partial
examples
with
for that
samples.
Okay. Well, they have some samples which, after court, anyone will be is able to come and take a look at and examine.
They have a sample of the Turkish towel.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
This is a submission from Interborough Packaging Corporation.
Which is, I guess, new.
I have no idea who those people are.
They are making a bid for powderless vinyl gloves for for a box of 100, $2.19. For trash can liner for the 12 to 16 gallon 100, a case of 100 is $1.98. For a case of 533 gallon bags is $30.74. For a case of 260 gallon bags is $28.34. And for a case of 150 56 gallon bags is $20.34. Oh, those prices.
There's an A, B, and C, and D bid.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out what that is. So there's an A, B, and C bid, all for trash can liners that are at different prices, but everything else.
Are they
It's the
because of the
same.
meal difference?
No, those are
We
the
talked a
same.
lot about bags today.
I was gonna say, can we use, do they supply body bags too, or
I know.
Yeah, we get those cheaper.
No, everything.
if we could order bulk, we could.
Except the price. I'm gonna read this
Maybe
so
that-
that it's in the record, but we will have to get further determination on what we're talking about. That was bid A. Bid B for a case of 100 12 to 16 gallon can liner, it's $1.98. For a case of 500 33 gallon liners is $25.34. For a case of 260 gallon liners is $25.24. For a case of 150 56 gallon liners is $18.82. Bid C for a case of 100 12 to 16 gallon liners is $1.98. For a case of 533 gallon liners is $20.82. For a case of 260 gallon liners is $21.32. For a case of 150 56 gallon liners is $16.34. And bid D for a case of 100 12 to 16 gallon liners is $1.98. For a case of 533 gallon liners is $20.82. For a case of 260 gallon liners is $18.92. And for a case of 150 56 gallon liners is $13.98.
I think those are maybe just specs on.
Well, I was just making sure there wasn't anything on the other bid explaining that, and there is not. So, that is the bid from Interborough.
Next judge is Pollock Aurora. So I guess they modified their name to some extent.
Yeah, we haven't had Pollock bid in a long time.
All right. As Commissioner Watt said, this is for Pollock Investments Incorporated. They do have a deviations page which says that due to current market conditions, all items may be subject to price increases, decreases without notice.
Yeah. Well, and there's another page too, Judge, that goes with that. They said if you would, use a laptop and pull up each item to kind of show the gallery.
I would like to remind everyone that all of these products are available through cooperatives, which we can use as well. All right, so bid list A, sanitary and paper products. Case of 6, toilet tissue, 2-ply, $48.99. Case of 96, toilet tissue, it's $46.38. Case of 12, paper roll or paper towel roll is $32.46. Case of 400 paper towel is $24.09. Box of 100 powderless vinyl gloves, $21.39. A case of 5,000 half-full protective seat covers is $31.22. Case of 12 deodorant spray, disinfectant spray in cans, $74.15. Case of 12 deodorant spray without disinfectant in cans is $62.61. Case of 6 deodorant spray metered is $34.69. Powdered laundry detergents $53, excuse me. Case of 12 linen disinfectant cans is $109.24. Case of 12 Spring Breeze disinfectant spray is $67.41. A case of 4 gallons hydrogen peroxide $17.63. A case of Health Guards urinal screen $20.09. A case of refills for alcohol foaming hand sanitizer is $89.62. For bid list B for floor care products, 5-gallon pail of floor stripper, $75.43. A case of 5 20-inch buffing pads is $13.13. Case of 6 24-ounce rayon ribbed mop head, $6.20. A 24-ounce rayon loop end mop head saddle is $6.35. A 16-ounce rayon ribbed mop head, case of 6 is $4.49. Fiberglass mop handle, $9.19. Plastic dustpan, $2.11. 24-quart yellow mop bucket with wringer is $83.39. Funnel type wringer and bucket combo, 35-quart is $87.33. A case of 12 toilet bowl cleaner, this is bid list C, is $28.90. A damp mop is $32.50. 32-ounce spray bottle, 61 cents. Trigger sprayer, 55 cents. Case of 100 12 to 16 gallon can liners, $26.56. A case of 533 gallon liners, $37.39. Case of 260 gallon liners, $29.79. Case of 150 56 gallon liners, $28.76. A toilet bowl brush, not mop, is $1.75. 10% industrial bleach is $23.32 a gallon. Pine Knoll concentrate is $39.46 a case. Old English furniture oil is $32.40 a case. 10-inch floor deck scrub brush is $3.24. Wiping cloths, Turkish towel, finished edges is $33.73 for a box. And an Engel broom is $6.95. And they made no bid on bid list B.
You should be an auctioneer.
Yeah, thank you.
Did we give that opportunity for A, B, C, and D bids? Is that different products?
I think it's designed to be more helpful to anyone who wants to bid, to know they can just bid on certain categories of product. And there is another sheet here.
It's very hard to read.
It's very hard to read, that is providing extra detail on what their brand of product for each of these things is, which will of course be included in the bid that folks can take a look at as per their.
See, Judge, like this one says, bid list A, sanitary and paper products.
That's
Bid
us.
list D, bid list B, floor care products. Bid C, cleaning products and equipment.
Yeah, that's how we put it out.
Okay. This one is Pyramid School Products from Tampa, Florida. How are they getting notification they're going out?
I don't know, because there's.
That's the electric paper.
It may be, but working. But one of the.
It's on our website.
We do post it on our website, and we have used them before, so
Oh.
they're probably watching.
Okay. I just noticed that the only way to order is through email.
Sure, absolutely. And it's only.
They're the ones that when you would get something for the bid, they tell you after the fact that it was only that price when you ordered 20 cases of it.
Oh.
Even though it didn't say that, and you couldn't get them to charge you less no matter what you did.
Okay.
So this is the bid for Pyramid School Products.
It's all handwritten, quite nice.
Yes, for bid
You have
list
to-
A.
you have to call them when you place an order with this company.
That's kind of funny.
For a box of 100 powderless vinyl gloves, $2.99 a box. For a case of 5,000 half-fold Protecto seat covers, $39.98 a case. For a case of 12 disinfectant deodorant spray in cans, it's $37.98 a case. For a case of 12 deodorant spray without disinfectant, $37.95 a case. For a case of 6 7-ounce can of deodorant spray is $23.94 a case. For a case of 12 linen disinfectant cans is $37.98. A case of 12 Spring Breeze disinfectant spray is $119.98. Case of 4 gallons of hydrogen peroxide is $189.98. A case of a case of Health Guard's urinal screen, $131.88 a case. For bid list B, a case of 5 20-inch buffing pads is $13.79 a case. A case of 6 24-ounce rayon ribbed mop head fantail, $35.94. A 24-ounce rayon loop end mop head saddle is $6.49 each. A case of 6 16-ounce rayon ribbed mop heads is $29.94. Fiberglass mop handle, $9.98. Plastic dustpan, $2.29. 24-quart yellow mop bucket with ringers, $66.98. Any funnel type ringer and bucket combo, 35-quart, is $96.98. Bid list C, case of 12 toilet bowl cleaner, $51.99 a case. Deck mop is $4.99 each. 32-ounce spray bottle, 79 cents. Trigger sprayer, 81 cents. Toilet bowl brush, not mop, $1.89. Case of Old English furniture oil, $69.98. A 10-inch floor deck scrub brush is $3.99 each. An Engel broom with metal handle is $4.89 each. And that is what Pyramid School Products bid on. Please tell me we're done.
Next, the last one, Judge, is Unipack,
Okay.
only bidding A and C, I believe, but
Okay.
limited.
And we do have samples from Unipack that everyone
Yes,
can look
and I
at.
did gouge one of those bags. It did not come that way from them with the
Oh, okay.
letter opener. So, didn't want anybody to think they're faulty.
All right, this this is the Unipack bid.
Point of order.
For a box of 100 powderless vinyl gloves, 2.2, which I'm guessing means $2.20. That's unclear. For a case of 100 12 to 16 gallon can liners, $16.80. For a case of 500 33 gallon liners, $22.90. For a case of 200 60 gallon liners is $24.25, and for a case of 150 56 gallon liners is $21.40. Not part of it.
Judge, can I be excused to go to my board meeting?
If we have to be this done, so do you. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it, you're getting to the bottom end of it.
Okay, so those are the bids for janitorial paper supplies.
Judge, if I may comment quickly.
Yes, please.
The RFP was sent out without any work with our office. Quite a bit of these items are either no longer applicable or not even the items that we use. I would suggest that we rebid this out based on what we actually.
She just wants you to do it again.
Because we had last year where a lot of items bid were not what we actually use or are to our specifications. It would be my suggestion that we rebid this after doing some work on what we actually need and use.
And we got in a lot of bids this time. We don't usually get in this good.
Yeah.
But we
this good
didn't get them
quality.
for people I would have expected to get them from.
So Cheryl, is your concern that we didn't go out for bids for the products that we actually use and need, or
Yes.
that we went out for too much? Because one of those things.
Both, both.
Yeah, but as far as going out for too much,
Too
that's
much
fine.
is fine, but there's a lot on there that are not what we actually use, so we're not bidding the things that housekeeping in the jail. are making.
Ricky, can we get your input on that?
Yes, I talked to Nancy, kinda early in the game when it was going out for bids. And when I got the list, then I was gonna get with Dora. Well, Dora's mother passed away, so she was out for a while. So we didn't have time to make any adjustments to a lot of those things that are.
I think it would save taxpayer dollars
Yeah.
rather than all of us doing all this work to try to compare apples to apples on what we're actually doing.
And it was painful to hear you go through that whole
It was.
list.
So we want you to do it again later.
But you are well spoken. if I
Thank
can
you,
say so.
appreciate that.
But like I can say off the top of my head, they order Autobahn all the time,
Right.
and I didn't hear Autobahn on there.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing that I can say that they've changed. As far as I know, they can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the jail uses powdered laundry detergent anymore.
No.
So I think there's lots of stuff that they do use that are not
We're
on
not
there,
on this list.
because they have started ordering from a different company. I want to relate it to Tide Pods, and I could be wrong, but something to that effect
Sure.
that they're using, that's not on the bid list, that we're not even seeing
Right.
if we're paying the cheapest price for, because they've changed what they've used. So I don't think it just needs to be maintenance, I think it needs to be
Right,
the jail,
maintenance.
housekeeping,
Everybody.
everybody needs to get.
I'd make that motion, Judge. We
Well, hold on. Commissioner Fincannon has made a motion to take the bids under advisement. Would you want to retract that motion?
Retract that.
Okay.
And I'll make the motion to reject all bids and rebid.
Okay. Sounds exciting. But I think
Heard a
it's-
lot about bags today, we haven't taken any action.
I think it's the right decision. All right, so Commissioner Watts has made the motion to reject all bids and repost. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
That motion is seconded by Commissioner Fincannon.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Why, why are we not looking at going to a cooperative for something like this? Is it an option? I mean, I don't know what I'm allowed to do as opposed to what someone else is allowed to do.
It is, I mean, it's
It would
certainly,
be, we wouldn't have to do all this if we could find a good cooperative to go through, and I just
Yeah,
need to know.
maybe
Is
bring us
anybody
some-
say, okay, go ahead and look at something?
I'd
Well,
say do that.
so I'd say two things. Number one, we need to go through the process of getting the jail, housekeeping,
Right.
maintenance. We need to get an updated list so that we
Yes,
have
correct.
that. Then, I think it would be a good idea, and Margaret, I put this on you, but it probably makes sense to do it. For y'all to come back with us of what that list would look like on the cooperative.
Okay.
And then the court can decide if we want to go out for bids, we still can, or if we want to.
Is there a vendor that is comprehensive?
There were multiple, I think, from that presentation.
And that one we had was not the only cooperative that we could, that we have. We have other places that we're a member of. There's,
I have a question.
Sourcewell.
yeah, there's lots of places. I just can't.
Commissioner
I have a question for Margaret.
Yes.
I realize that we're not gonna accept any of these bids, but would these bids be useful at all to look at your cooperative prices versus these bid prices?
Right, yes.
Kind of see where they're
Yes.
falling in line.
I think so, yes.
I think that'd be good to look at the two of
Yes.
those and compare.
And I also, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I also just want to be real clear because I've never been clear on this. I've always been told, and I was told this by Willie, that the county put in that anybody could raise their prices as long as they gave us a 30-day notice. That's the thing with the cooperative. Once you get in it for the year, you're in that price. And I don't know if that's a true statement. However, last year, that's what happened. 5 days after someone wins the bid, they raise the prices on
Well,
everything.
we have the ability in our RFP, if we put in the proposal that you, by bidding, you're not going to change your prices,
So that's something that needs to be.
that's a
by
consideration.
Melvin.
And you did say,
Yes, and
well, then
that's
you're
allowed
not
to
gonna
do
have the
that.
bid after they did that last year, but then that puts the purchasing person, which I realize this is the purchasing person's responsibility, however, we don't have a full purchasing department yet, or then it has to be okay with you guys if she's going and she's comparing everybody to everybody each time she goes and makes a purchase, which is what she's done all year,
Okay.
because of what happened last year.
So we have a few things we need to
Yes.
figure out in this process.
What was the motion again?
The motion was to reject all bids and repost.
After we get done, really, it'll be after we can,
Analyze.
we might not ever get around to reposting.
Yeah,
There's not a timeline.
that's why we probably need to change the motion to reject them all.
We don't have that option. If
Oh, we
we
don't?
reject a
We have
bid,
to repost it?
we have to reject all bids and repost.
But
let me make sure.
we don't have a date that we have to do it by.
So
So we can-
one of the interesting things too is making sure that we're getting the right products, because
Yeah.
I can look up there right now and I can already tell you that the things that are sitting there, from what I can tell, just from here,
We
are
don't
not the
use.
types of things we're gonna use.
Yeah, the gloves for $2.99 a box is not gonna be anything that they can use.
You
They'll
can't
rip
use
it-
real
they'll rip
use
your
latex,
hands.
we don't use bleach. Bleach is
But-
outlawed in the county now, I don't know if y'all know that, but
The what?
bleach,
Oh,
I outlawed it. But housekeeping will get terminated.
well,
You don't like bleach?
No, bleach.
on the last one from Unipack, there is a spreadsheet put together that before we had aligned those products. I don't know why they included it, but it may be helpful. If we need to do that before we send it to you, that'd be good. So,
Okay, so the motion is to reject all bids and repost at some future time. Because we will have to repost at some point, even if, unless we decide to go with a cooperative, which is still a bidding process. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, do we have any other questions or comments? Would anyone like for me to read the bids again?
Yeah.
Consideration.
We'd like an app.
All right, do we have any questions or comments on the motion to reject all bids and repost, or the item itself? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, there's 4-0, the motion passes. And just a note for the record, Commissioner Mahler has stepped out, so that's why the vote number changed. All right, that brings us to our final thing, which is to receive an update on courthouse renovation, elevator projects, and the county courthouse annexes.
I'll be fast. TK was here last week to work on the annex elevator. They put the part in that we've been waiting on, so fingers crossed that it'll stay working now. They were also here working on car 2. It had some adjustments that needed to be made. Still, they went back to go over the factory settings and make sure that it is all adjusted correctly, and may return with some additional adjustments that need to be made. That about correct on that?
Yes.
Okay. Annex, they're moving into the tag office as we speak, so it should open, I think next week is when they have scheduled to open. That's the big stuff, right?
But not to do car tax.
Not to do car
Correct.
tax, to do property tax.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
That's, I'll be very brief. That's it.
We have any questions or comments on this item? Okay. It is 12:16. Wait, hold on. Okay, that is everything. It is 12:16.